Yeah, we started it, and it just sat there.
YouTube is up. Facebook.
You good? Now if we need to move that thing over here, we can do that. Actually, that might not be a bad idea.
What's that?
Move his mount over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be nothing. That'd be easy to do.
You see ourselves?
No.
You think I'm on it? Can you see me here?
Oh, yeah. The camera shot's got you in it. I checked that earlier.
Good.
Facebook. Come on. So Facebook's supposed to start at 7 o'clock.
Okay. And
It's
it's
set to automatically go.
6:59.
Yeah.
So YouTube's going.
YouTube is going.
Hey, y'all watching on YouTube if you're watching. Or listening at this point, I should say.
There's one view.
So we got somebody watching.
Yeah, a person. Once YouTube or Facebook kicks on, I've got it set to automatically start. By the upside, there's video there today.
Do what now?
There's video there now.
Okay, that's good. On YouTube or Facebook?
Should be both.
Still 6:59 on mine.
Facebook has it going. YouTube goes as soon as I tell it to go.
All right, 7 o'clock. According to Mr. iPhone.
Let's see if Facebook is pushing it.
You ready to go high?
And Facebook is starting.
Cool.
It says it's live, but let's give it to the things.
No, we're good. We are good. We are
It's
good.
going, so we'll wait a few minutes and I'll let you know. We'll start it whenever.
Awesome.
Because there's nobody watching yet.
Yeah, wait till we get to the end of the fight song and then we'll go. That'll work.
And we got one on YouTube.
There you go.
I think we should come up with some way to make a loud buzzing.
Yeah.
Get about 2,500 doing that.
You're right.
Alive in the hive.
I think the precedent has been set, though, of what's going to be going on.
All right, here we go.
So.
All right, y'all. Good evening and welcome to Swarmcast number 2. Randy Young here along with Jamie Majors and Brian Davis as we're going to be talking all things Yellow Jacket tonight. A lot to talk about. We will have head coach Justin Rogers from the football program live in about 10-15 minutes or so. Then we'll have Ryan Strickland, the head baseball coach, coming on about 7:45. Baseball's been doing pretty good here of late now. In fact, they kind of made history last week, and that's not something you do every day. So looking forward to talking to Coach Strickland and Coach Rogers. And Jamie, welcome to the Swarmcast, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to make it to the first one, but and I was missing it. So
it's okay. All good.
I'm glad to be here tonight.
Yeah, all good. And Brian, thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
With your non-sponsored coffee self.
It is not sponsored.
I don't know that they can see it because we've got the big state championship sign thing in front of us here, but that's okay. That if we got to have something blocking it, that's a good thing to have blocked.
When we did these back in the fall, somebody was wondering if we were sponsored by a certain coffee company here in town. We could be, but we're not, and so that's why the sign's here.
That's your name could go right there on that placard.
Yeah, if you got a good coffee and you want to be a part of the Swarmcast and you don't mind giving Brian a cup before we start, hey, we'll put your name right there.
Right there.
And we'll make a big deal out of you. Last night was the football banquet and the ring ceremony. Very special. And we're going to talk about it with Coach Rogers whenever he calls in. But that was really neat, guys. Of course, it's been a long time since we've had ring ceremony, and the way they did it was kind of cool. It was kind of a combination of the regular football banquet that you would see and the awarding of the rings to the players. But just a really special night. And, Jamie, I know it had to be really special for you because Eli, your son, got one. You got one. I mean, it was just a really neat night.
And, Randy, I'll have to say that I got Jeff Majors, my brother that played here.
That's right.
In 97.
And 96.
And but he had 3 rings.
Yep.
So, I always used to tease him, hey, we should have had a couple.
Just share one of them.
But it was a special night. And to see my son get one and show him, for him to know what work has to go in to achieve that.
Yeah.
Man, it's really set the precedents for those kids coming up.
Yeah.
And that class is going to be so good. They're a good team-oriented class.
There's a bunch of those classes that are going to be pretty doggone good.
Absolutely. Now. And it was just good to see after he said seniors, because we know we're saying bye to them.
Yep.
When those juniors hopped up, I said, good gracious.
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of them that
we got a
familiar
lot
names
to talk about.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the one good thing about it, too, is you saw – so we had the Meet the Yellow Jackets at the beginning of the season. You got to see the players then. So you see them now all the way in March.
Yeah.
The size difference on these youngins, man, it is crazy. The nutrition program, the strength and conditioning program, man, these guys are – and, of course, then you have an extended season like we had.
Yeah.
They are putting on some size.
Well, as my granddaddy used to say, it looks like they've been running around barefooted in a cow pasture because they have been fertilized now. Some of those guys have grown 6 inches or more in the last handful of months. It's not often, and I tried to kind of put a little perspective on it last night as we were closing out. It's kind of emotional when you're standing there and you're looking around and you see Coach Charlie Ward Sr., you see Charlie Ward Jr., you see Ken Harper, you see Bill Wilhelm, Frank Delaney. There's a lot of tradition in there, and I love the fact that Coach Rogers, he has embraced that from day one. He has made that part of what he calls that culture, so that all those young guys coming up understand there's a pretty heavy load to bear here. You got a big torch to carry, and it's just very special, very special. And let me remind everybody before we get too deep into this, if you've got a question or a comment, please just write it up and send it to us. And if we see it, again, we'll try to address it. If you're on Facebook, you can make your comments. And if you're on Facebook too, please share it on your homepage and then invite your friends and tell them to be a part of it as well. And again, on YouTube, you can put those questions and comments up, and we will be more than happy to try to talk about them as best we can. One of the moments of the night for me, and I got to share this if you were not there, Papa D has an award that is named after him. It's the Frank Delaney Community Service Award that's given to a person in the community that's had a huge impact on our program. And last night it was awarded to Tommy Patel. And then there is nobody that has done more and been more willing to help in any way he could for not just the football program, but for any program than Tommy Patel. And Coach Rogers had told everybody when they got their awards to walk up on the right side of the stage and come across and get their award and then exit on the left. And when they called Tommy up, he had no idea he was getting anything. He walked up on the wrong side, and Papa D stopped him and told him to go back around just like it was graduation rehearsal. And the whole room just kind of fell apart because everybody knew there's Pop right there. If you're not going to do it right now, don't do it.
And you ain't going to argue with him.
Well, that was I was about to say. As soon as Pop told him to do it, Tommy said, "Yes, sir." There was no, "What are you talking about? What am I doing? What did you want me to do?" When he pointed him around, it was over with. But just, again, a very, very special night. And two, let me say this. Whenever we were getting everything set up yesterday afternoon, Coach Rogers made the comment, and he said, "There's no way we'll fit this many. No way this many people will be coming to this thing." The middle school cafeteria will seat between 500 and 550. I think it was elbow to elbow, and the booths that are around the room that they had not intended to use, there were people having to sit in those because there was just nowhere else for them to get.
Well, they ran out of chairs.
Yep.
I mean, there was not enough chairs even in the whole place to seat everybody. They had to go find some more chairs. That turnout was fantastic. Not only did you have the parents and grandparents of players and things of that nature, you had just true fans that showed up and wanted to support.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal. And before we get too much further, Casey, can you get the graphic of the state championship sign? Because I want to explain to everybody. Obadiah Farley's asking about the yard sign thing, and I want to kind of explain to everybody what's going on with that. Last night we debuted the design of the road signs that are going to go up, that the county's going to be putting at every one of the major entrances into the county. There'll be 15 or 16 of them total up. And the gentleman, it's a really cool story. The guy who is making these things for the county is based out of Mariana. Well, he had not put he's a huge Florida State fan. He had not put two and two together with Charlie Ward in Thomas County Central. Well, somehow or another that light bulb came on, and he made the offer, just kind of his own accord, that he was going to create or make replicas that would be on that corrugated plastic that you see so many of the yard signs made out of for our fans to be able to get to have at their homes. And I contacted Donnie Powell and Bill Carson from the Booster Organization, and they said, heck yeah. So those are going to be done through the Booster Club. And if you look on my Facebook page, there is a post about the signs and the form that you can click on to be able to fill out, to be able to get them ordered.
I'm about to put it in the comments.
There you go. That'll work.
Casey, can you do a QR on it?
I wish.
I got you.
Well, I think we got a pretty good little plan here. But now I do want to say this. If you go to that link that Casey's going to provide here, and it doesn't let you access the form, because that's happened today at least a couple of times, if you will email Casey, and it's real easy, kmassey, M-A-S-S-E-Y, at tcjackets.net, kmassey at tcjackets.net. You can email him, and he will take care of getting the form filled out for you. But I do want to emphasize to everybody now, they will not be ordered until they're paid for. That's because we have to do them in bulk.
Right.
He doesn't want to do them one at a time because that gets pretty laborious. And the more we order at one time, the less it's going to cost the boosters to have to pay for them, and the more money's raised from them. So it's a win-win there. Yep. So we're waiting until we get a double handful of them together to be able to make the order. So if you haven't ordered yours, again, you can email Casey Massey, kmassey at tcjackets.net. He will either get the form to you or he will fill the form out for you. Or if you look on my Facebook page, there is a Google form down there for you to be able to find the link to be able to go to. So, and they look really good. I mean, it's a really nice looking sign.
Yep.
And
I don't think we'll have a problem.
No.
I think it'll be a really good deal. I can't wait to have mine sitting out there.
Lakeisha Esther says hello to the Jacket family. Hey, Lakeisha, how you doing? And it was good seeing Whit last night and Earl Brooks. And
met Whit for the first time.
Yeah, how about that? She's a sport now.
Oh.
Yeah, she's a sport.
That was really nice. That was really nice what the football moms did for Coach Rogers' wife.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And what they're talking about, the football moms collected, the senior football moms collected money up to buy a present, a nice bracelet for Melissa Rogers, Coach Rogers' wife, because of all the time and energy that she has spent with their boys the last 2 years. And that was really cool.
Also, let's wish them a happy anniversary because today's their anniversary.
Oh,
that's right. That's right. Coach Rogers and Melissa, happy anniversary. And I have it on good information that they are going away as a family next week. So during spring break, they'll be able to have some family time.
Is he putting that new camper to use, I guess?
I bet you $50. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'll bet you that's what's happening. But the thing is once that week, when next week's over with, then it's game on at that point. Because then we're about, 4 weeks or so from a spring scrimmage.
I think the 23rd we start spring.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, it is right here. Golly.
What off season?
Yeah, really.
Well, when you play for the state championship,
yeah,
that's 15 weeks plus your off weeks and all. So
yep.
Hey, that's a lot of good time, a lot of good reps.
Mm-hmm. Well, and in this day and age, to keep up, you just can't let off the gas. I mean, you just got to keep going and keep pushing. It's a year-round job. I mean, it really is. I mean, I think he said that there really and truly are like 2 full weeks during the entire school year, 12 months wise, that he gets just a chance to exhale. Now, I don't know if next week was going to be one of those, but they're going to make it be one of those. So, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He has spent a lot of time and energy trying to get that. The banquet by itself was a big production.
I want to mention, too, since Coach Rogers and his staff have showed up here, there has been I can't think of any downtime. And anything that's done, it's done at like 100,000%.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Like you take that banquet last night.
Yep. Oh.
It wasn't just good enough to have a ring ceremony and an awards. It had to be the best.
Right.
Yep. And that's just Coach Rogers in a nutshell and his staff.
Yep. Well,
and the wives.
Yeah.
Well, I want to compliment Casey Massey for what he did last night with all the technical stuff. Chris White did all the graphics and so forth, looked really, really good. And, of course, all the broadcasting kids, Josie Walden in particular, that all the highlight videos were edited from, because it does my heart good to look up there and know, again, our students were the ones that did those camera shots and everything. And, again, for me, that's pretty cool.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really neat. And the way everything took place and how, like I said, you didn't have two separate events. You had two major events that were in the same event done right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it was very, even as much as we had going on, it still flowed.
Yep.
And there was always, you didn't feel at some point like, okay, I'm ready to get this over with. You were entertained and you were excited the whole time because you knew how much it meant to all the players.
Yep.
And I want to say that when me and you talked earlier today, tell everybody out there what we talked about of how special it was to have a Heisman Trophy.
Oh my gosh!
In the room,
yep.
And it's just we have everything at our school.
Yep.
We encompass everything that we've got. We've got NFL players. We've got Heisman trophies. We've got NBA players. We have
national
NFL
football champions,
players with Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yep.
How many can say they got all that?
Yep. Yeah. There aren't any, again, very much south of Macon that are going to have a Heisman Trophy winner in the house. And it eats at him, though, because he knows there should have been 2 rings for you guys back in 86 and 87. He knows it more than anybody.
He done everything he could.
Yeah, I know.
He is a very special person. Charlie Ward Jr. is a very special person.
Well, when you got Michael Lovejoy, who's in the Valdosta State Athletic Hall of Fame, saying that you don't hear people bragging about how they hit Charlie in practice and all that stuff because nobody ever did.
Yep.
That says something. That says something.
Hello.
Again, we're going to have Coach Rogers, and I think Casey may be actually getting him in line right now. Let's see here.
Hey, Coach, you got us?
Hello.
There you are.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, what's going on?
Not a thing, man. Here, sitting here bragging about that awesome banquet last night. That was just so neat.
Oh man, it was unbelievable. It was obviously an exciting night. Being able to, to do that with the young men and, give them their rings and just see the joy and excitement on their faces. Like a little kid on Christmas morning. But then also just awesome. Man, we packed that daggum cafeteria out. And that's a big venue, and it was standing room only, and that's just a testament to the fans and the support that these young men have and our program has. I just couldn't. That was one of the things I was blown away. Just the amount of people there. That was just awesome.
Well, I kind of told you again with it being a state championship year now. Every mama, every daddy, every grandparent, some of the aunts and uncles and nephews and nieces were going to be there, and I think that's what happened. But that's okay. That's all good.
No, it's better than okay. Man, it was encouraged. Yeah, so that was cool. That was awesome.
Well, Coach Rogers, ever since you've gotten here, you've talked the talk of, hey, we're going to do this 100% in everything we do. Hey, that mantra's catching on. So everybody's just doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's like I tell the kids sometimes. Ain't nobody breaking it down on some end. Ain't nobody saying some in on 3. We say it all in.
That's right.
So we want all in, and we're getting it. I mean, it's just it's cool. But I ain't telling y'all nothing y'all don't know. Shoot, y'all live this thing. Y'all know how special this place is.
Well, that has to be pretty cool for you, though, to know that, again, you're getting an opportunity to hand out state championship rings to all of your players, and then all of a sudden you look up and you got a Heisman Trophy winner up there handing out an award.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Ain't no doubt. I mean, that is so cool. Every time I see him, I'm like starstruck. Like, oh my gosh, Charlie. And because I can remember, watching him when Florida State was in their heyday, and that's my college years, and I'm, big into college football, and there he is. And the neat thing about Charlie now, getting to know him a little bit and meet him, is, man, that is the most humble superstar in the world.
Yes.
God almighty, man, what a walk and a testament he has just by his actions.
That's good raising is what that is now.
Ooh, ain't no doubt now. He is impressive as far as his character and everything.
Yep. Now, hey, I was telling everybody that you and your family is going to be able to take some time off next week, which is very well deserved. But now, what's the schedule for the team and everything as we start moving towards spring now?
Yeah, so everybody take a day and go to spring break. We'll enjoy a whole week off. And then when we get back, it's on. I mean, you kind of get going. The Tuesday we get back will be physicals. That'll be physicals for all 8th grade and above football players. And so we'll knock out all our physicals, get all that done. That'll be good for a whole year and get us through spring. So that'll be Tuesday after school. Then on Thursday of that first week back, we take our annual pilgrimage to Florida State. I always take the whole team to Florida State and watch a practice. More is caught than taught, and before you can get good, you got to learn how to practice. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important for them to be able to see a pace of practice, attention to detail, effort. So we'll bus over there on that Thursday and take them to practice. Then that second week, Monday, we'll have orientation for our freshmen and give out their equipment and have a parent orientation that night. Then that Tuesday of the second week, you got 8th grade spring starting. Golly. And so we'll start with them for 3 days, and then the following week, the varsity will join them.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's here. Yeah. Hand out reins, and then all of a sudden come back, spring ball, baby, let's roll.
Well, but you made a good comment to me in a conversation we were having while we were setting all that stuff up. If you wanted to put the perfect bow on a season, that's the way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect way to wrap it up.
Well, it's also, I think it's going to be a great segue.
Yeah.
I mean, for these kids that just got the rings that, aren't seniors and coming back, I mean, dang, if that don't motivate you to have a good spring football, I don't know what will.
Yeah, no question about it. What's it feel like, though, to watch that senior class come across that stage, Coach? Because you talk about buy-in and everything that you've asked them to do. They have really set the bar here.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously you're proud. You're very proud during that situation to see those young men and the ones that you poured into, and just see how they have developed, and both athletically and both as a man. Also, you get nervous because you're like, man, that man ain't gonna be playing star next year. He's gonna be playing D-line next year. Right. Man, that man ain't gonna be. So you get nervous on that too. But no, it's just an awesome feeling, and that's like my wife had a joke with me. I was handing out the rings, and she's like, "Quit talking and just take a smile." I want to talk to all of them. These are my boys, and so when we embracing the moment, right? During that, and so you wanted to do that. So now that was cool. Well,
and the good news is, Jamie and I were talking about this before we started recording here. It was really nice to see all of the names, familiar names in that junior class step up, and then that sophomore class, and even a couple from that freshman class that were big contributors this year. So the cupboard's not bare.
Oh, no, not by no means. And it never will be here.
Yeah.
I mean, you should always be good here. I mean, and then some years be elite, but you can never be bad. And so, because you've got good players and you've got good raising and all that. And so no, we'll be fine now. We'll just, it's like we tell our kids in January when we had our kickoff meeting to start the season, the numbers change, the names change, but the standard stays the same.
Right.
And so there'll be new names that people will talk about because they'll step up and they'll start making plays.
Now, you added a new coach this week. You want to talk about him for a second?
Yeah, we can. I don't know. Have we talked about all of them? Did we talk about the other two last time?
Yeah, we did.
I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
We added a receivers coach. We were looking for a receiver coach, and we hired a Clifton Herbert. Mm-hmm. Now, who is Clifton Herbert? All right, he was he's a military kid. All right, grew up all over. Even sometime overseas in Germany. And I asked him, I said, where do you call home? He said, well, I guess if I had to peg one, I'd probably say Los Angeles because he was there so much. And he got recruited out of high school. He was a very good receiver. and round up, signing a scholarship and playing for June Jones at Hawaii.
Okay.
And played in the slot for Hawaii when they were slinging around, running the run and shoot offense, and playing in that system. Then he got out of that and kind of went a different route, and then just felt like coaching was calling his name, and he got into coaching, and he got in at a small college, and then jumped up to Alabama A&M and coached college ball over at A&M because he actually defensive backs at that time for them. Then went to Enterprise, Alabama, and coached. And in these past 3 years, he's been the offensive coordinator for Carver out of Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
And so a really good program there with a lot of good athletes. And he's been the OC for them. And there was a connection on staff with Joe Thornton. Joe knew him from his time at Alabama. And so he had told him what a great situation it was here and how we do things. And so when I met him, with the wealth of knowledge he had at receiver play, and because I've had another coach before on staff at Jones one time that was a military kid that had went a lot of places. And he was very beneficial to our kids because the life experiences and places he's been, he was so relatable, and he could tell stories, and the kids just loved hearing about all these places.
Right.
And I think that's important. So that kind of struck me because I remember that as well. And so we're excited about him. He will officially start in the schoolhouse the Monday when we get back from spring break. So that way he'll be out there for spring ball.
That's awesome.
Another interesting fact, too, about him, his grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, okay.
And, yeah. So it give you something to strike up a sidebar conversation when you meet him. He was telling a story about that the other day when I talked to him, and that was a really cool story. But that's his story to tell. But that's pretty cool fact.
That's good genetics right there is what that is.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
At 100%. Brian, you got anything you want to ask?
Yeah, Coach, one thing we talked about last night that I just was, it shouldn't dumbfound me, but it did, is how much size these kids have put on from the time we saw them at the Meet the Jackets through the course of the season, through the little bit of off break, then to last night. Whatever we are feeding them and the strength and conditioning, Coach, it is working.
Yeah, no doubt. A couple things on that. I mean, first off, we have an unbelievable strength coach, Jay Floyd. Jay Floyd is phenomenal. I think those that are inside the athletic program, because, he works with softball, baseball, wrestling. He works with all our sports. He's not just football. And Jay is good. He's now me and Jay go way back. We were assistant coaches at Harris County together. And that's how we kind of build a bond with one another as we were up and coming and kind of going through it. And I left off and went to Griffin, and then he went to Troup County. And then when I got the head job at Jones, Floyd was the first one I called. I was like, man, I want you to go. When I ran the weight room at Griffin, and really I ran the weight room my first year at Jones, but I always would call him. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I always kind of did things off him. So I finally got him at Jones. He was amazing there. Big factor in why we was able to turn things around there with him, just on getting us bigger, faster, and stronger, and the key on bigger.
Right.
And then when I went to Moultrie, his wife wouldn't sign off on it. She said that he couldn't go, and she wouldn't agree with it. And but when we came here, she said, "Now hold on, damn." And so she signed off on this one. So now he's with us. And he's got kids in the program. He's got a son that plays football for us. He's got a daughter that plays on the softball team. And so they're loving it. So we're so excited to him. So he's a big reason for that.
Hey, and listen, he's clearly an intelligent guy, because if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So he knows what he's doing there now. We
know that. That's for sure. But he always has a saying, big people beat up little people. So we're always trying to get as big as we can. We weigh them every week. We weigh them every Wednesday. And they get weighed so we can monitor, because what you measure is what you get. And so we want to measure it. And so that way they're cognizant of their weight and if they're having any growth or if we're getting stagnant. And so right now we want to absolutely get as big as humanly possible, put on that, what I call the winter coat, because the summer is going to take it and lean you up in the summer. So you got to get that winter coat on now.
Let me ask you
That's probably why they looked a lot bigger too. You see them at Meet the Jackets. We done leaned them up by then, because that summer right now we're in our winter coat phase right now.
Well, there's a testimony to that weigh-in, because Eli will walk in there and say, "Hey, Dad, I got to weigh today. I've got to be at a certain number."
Yeah, now we do have some that we are trying to go in a negative manner, and we weigh them for a purpose other than getting bigger. So that's right. That's right.
Coach, let me ask you real quick, of the guys that you've got that we're going to have on our team next year that have not been in the spotlight yet, are there any guys that you kind of think in the back of your mind, keep an eye on this guy?
Well, one right now is J.B. Watkins. J.B. Watkins was a freshman last year, played some just late game situations at some quarterback and some receiver. I think the kid's got a chance to be really good. I think he's got a chance to be really good. Another one is Cam Simon. Now, Cam Simon's a junior, about to be a senior. He wound up having some weird hand issues last year. Held him out of some games. Some of y'all remember him playing, looked like he had a fin on his hand when he played sometimes because of the way we had to brace him. But he has had a unbelievable offseason. He's one of the ones that's added about 15 pounds to him. He is looking the part and ready to go. And I think he's going to have a really good year. And I'm really excited about his growth there and how he's come along.
Well, Coach, when I seen him last night, me and I'm terrible with names, but the tight ends coach, Coach Wyndon, he was said, "Hey man, with Malachi, we're kind of looking, and when I seen that guy go up there, I looked at Coach Wyndon and I was like, that might be the guy."
Yeah, well, right now we're going to let him stay on that D-line. We got to replace something. Walt Reddick's leaving too.
Oh, right.
And so we got to replace some things there. But yeah, he does. He looks the part. His thighs have got so big there. And tight end, we're just going to play by committee.
Right.
We're going to play by committee, but maybe not play as much in line tight end. Play more off the ball. Playing off the ball is a little bit more forgiving on the blocks, and so that'll help us a little bit as the tight ends mature, and then we can slowly get back on the ball more. Yep. But one more guy I wanted to name is I'm really excited about is our center, who's going to probably be our center, big Arnold Korkichin. He's
Korkichin.
Yes, whatever it is.
The bad Russian.
I call him. Yes, sir. And I'm telling y'all now, he's got a chance to be extremely special. I think you'll see his stock rise a lot this spring as the colleges come through for evaluations because he bends. He's so big, but, man, he bends well. He moves in his hips really good. He's highly intelligent, so we're excited about him.
I got to tell you, the first time I heard Korchigan's name mentioned was some kids in our class, the high school coach, that were bragging about the fact they were learning some Russian cuss words from him, and they could cuss, and nobody knew they were doing it.
Well, they think they're cussing. Ain't no telling what they're saying. They're probably calling themselves an idiot. You know what I mean? Arnold's smart enough. He's probably playing pranks on all of them, and they're probably saying some Soviet communist.
I know.
I hadn't even thought about
at this point, I'm just glad he's on our team.
Yeah, I told him. I said, I ain't repeating nothing you tell me. I don't know what you're making me say. I said, I ain't falling for that.
Oh, my goodness. Coach, listen, man, thank you again. And just a very special night. Again, a nice bow to go on the present that was the 2023 season. Enjoy your week next week, and happy anniversary to you, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It's a great anniversary. That's the biggest prize. I'm so blessed to have a wife that not only allows me to chase my dream and do football, but actively joins me in the dream. I mean, she is an active participant in our program and just loves our kids so much and so involved. So, yeah, I want to say a big happy anniversary to my wife, Melissa, and just how blessed I am to have her to do this journey with.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I've been to a lot of football banquets, but that's the first time I've ever seen parents take up a collection to buy the wife of the head coach a present. I've never seen that happen before.
Man. That was so awesome, man. I was so happy for her. And, because so many times wives live in the shadows and they sacrifice so much. That was. Well,
those mamas noticed her. I promise you. Those mamas there noticed her.
Yes, that was so awesome. And so, because and all our wives are awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I'm obviously partial to Melissa.
Jamie, you got something?
I was just gonna say it's you don't see it everywhere, Coach. How special those wives are to all those coaches, and it just looks like to me, from the outside looking in, it's just they get treated a little different. And
there's a good bond there.
It's an awesome thing when those wives that have to, because I see how much time that y'all put in during the season and off season. Man, it never ends. It's just
they're widows. I mean, they're widows for a lot of the years, and they do a lot on their own. And so we're so blessed, but we're so blessed that you got wives that buy into also. Not we ain't going some in now. We're going all in, and the wives are part of that. And so and we're just blessed to have a group of wives that are all in on this thing and believe in what their husbands are doing.
Absolutely.
All right. Coach, listen, man, go on. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your break. And again, happy anniversary. And please give the regards to your better half for us, if you would.
Will do. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Coach.
That's a great point about Corchigan. I hadn't thought about that. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he could be teaching them to say anything, and they just going right along. Yeah, okay. Until somebody actually understands
and he's probably laughing the whole time, too, and that may be why.
He turns around and says, y'all idiots.
In Russian, so they don't know what he's saying.
Dumb Americans.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Obadiah Farley has asked about the flag football team.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to mention that. But I'm going to ask my Yellow Jacket flashback question. We're in March Madness. And last time we talked about Darrell Cleveland, who is the only basketball player from Thomasville or Thomas County that has won a national championship at the collegiate level. He's a Thomas County Central guy. Graduated back in the early 70s, won the national championship at Louisville in 1976.
Okay.
When was the last time a Thomas County Central basketball team played for a state championship?
It would have had to have been the girls.
Let's see if somebody out there. I knew you'd remember it. But when was the last time a Thomas County Central basketball team played for a state championship? Now, we've had some that have gotten very, very, very close in the interim, but there's only one here in the last, I say, the modern era that has played for a state championship. I'm not telling you.
I remember going to it.
Yep.
I went to it.
You're right. What you just mouthed was right. And unless you can read lips, he said it in Russian. So just to confuse everybody. Yep. But I remember it too. I actually, no, I'm not going to say.
Well, if it's any consolation, I don't.
Once you get it,
you weren't here, so you weren't even a gleam in your daddy's eye at that point.
So you might not have made it yet.
No,
don't think I did. I don't think I did.
Flag football, and Obadiah, I appreciate you bringing it up. Yeah. What they have decided to do. Slow pitch softball, which has been a sport for a long, long time. Not that there's anything wrong with slow pitch softball, but the flag football thing in the state of Georgia is on fire right now.
Yep.
And we have programs now that have been developed at Colquitt. I think Lowndes has got one.
They do.
And there's several local teams now. And so instead of the slow pitch softball, we will be focusing our attention for the girls on flag football. And what's really cool about that, if you watched any of the state championship games from the Dome or from Mercedes-Benz, listen to the Dome, Mercedes-Benz this past year, they had the flag football championships there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm going to flat tell you, watching some of those things,
pretty good.
Those ladies can play.
They can play.
I mean, there was a couple of girls I kept thinking, I'm surprised they haven't been recruited to the boys varsity now.
They're good.
Yeah, very impressive.
And the crazy stuff they do with the ball.
Yeah.
After it's snapped, it's something you'll have to grasp.
Yep.
On how it all happens.
Yep. And I think they're trying to figure out, because I've been asked this question, but that's the reason I bring it up or expound on it, and I appreciate you asking. I've been asked about, what the coaching, there's a lot of details that are going to still have to be worked out, but it will happen this fall. So that's going to be something to look forward to.
That'd be cool. Awesome. Should be awesome.
Yep.
The last 3 years, I know the last 2 years, they play those state championship. It's there's 2 leagues.
Mm-hmm.
You got, I think, single A through 3A,
mm-hmm.
all play under one region or whatever,
like one umbrella for them.
Yeah. And then from 4A to 7A, now 6A, all those teams compete at another level.
That's their classification.
That's the 2, yeah.
Okay.
Probably because there's not enough teams to have one for every classification, which would make sense.
That makes sense.
Wherever Coach Shaver went and coached,
Bullock Academy.
At Bullock, them girls ain't lost in like 3 years.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yep.
They are really, really
Like a
really
68-game winning streak or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But watching those games on Wednesday, I think they start. If the games start on Thursday, it's either Thursday and then Friday and Saturday are the two big days for your boys championships, and then the girls play the day before, and them girls can play.
Oh my gosh!
And the crazy things they do with the ball,
they
can do a lot of stuff with the ball after it snapped.
Right.
Yep.
And I think Childs and all them are around Tallahassee's already got it.
It's really big in Tallahassee, and in fact, there is traveling flag football leagues for girls, just like you would see traveling softball in Tallahassee. So it's a real thing, that is taking place. And we got to see it firsthand when we went to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Jamie, the game is almost kind of different than your traditional football because of how much lateral motion there is. Because you have to have separation to be able to get yardage and stuff.
Yep.
It really is neat. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I think it'll be awesome for our girls to have something else to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Add a sport there to get some more kids out playing active, and just really just enjoying going to school. I think anytime that you can play any sports in high school, I think it adds to being a better student.
Well, not only that, but any kid needs a carrot in front of them to make them want to get out of bed and go to school.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I always said for years and years and years that half of the kids in the broadcasting department wouldn't be at school if it wasn't for that broadcasting department, because they loved being in there.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if that's a young lady's thing, then amen. What's been funny is listening to some of the, I say old guard, I mean ones that graduated in the last 10 years ago, like, now they do that. We could have, if we'd have had that, but that's the way it always
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that about volleyball and the bass fishing. Because both of those, bass fishing, you would have had a mile or a line a mile long of boys trying out for the bass fishing team if it had happened 10 years ago.
You ain't kidding.
Now, Lakeisha is asking or said, is it 2007, 2008 or something? It was not, Lakeisha. It was quite a bit before that.
I was around in 2007, 2009.
But anyway, Obadiah, that's what we know about the flag football stuff, but it is coming, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Before Coach Strickland calls, I want to remind everybody again, if you've got a question or a comment, please type it up and just submit it if you're on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, share this on your page and invite your friends to be a part of it. If you're watching on YouTube, you are welcome to make a comment or ask a question if you want to, and we'll try to get to it. We're going to have Ryan Strickland, the head baseball coach, calling it. Man alive, you talk about a couple of big wins.
Yep. Big time.
You go to Lee County, which is what they did yesterday, and shut them out 2-0. But what they did against Houston was historic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that with Coach Strickland. He's got a lot of stuff to brag about. And again, I want to give everybody Casey's email address. If you're having problems with that form to order those yard signs, Casey's typing it in there, kmassey@tcjackets.net. Once we get, I think, 30 of those things in hand, ordered and paid for, that's when we'll get the first. I really think once we get some of them here, we'll have a ton of them. Everybody's going to want one. It's a perfect replica of the road signs that'll be put on every one of the major entrances into the county, and you're going to want to have one of those things. No question.
Also, I want to bring up that this simulcast or whatever that we're doing, the Swarmcast that we're doing, we talk about all Yellow Jacket sports.
100%.
Yeah. We've got a track meet going on right behind us right now at the stadium.
Yep.
So we'll have to try to dig and find out how we did there. But we want to make sure that we're getting all these coaches and these players,
everyone
all their due, when they do something
Well,
good
I'm glad you said
sports.
that, because the girls soccer team finished their season undefeated.
Wow.
And
They're
they
doing
are
fantastic.
Yep. And the boys were ahead of Houston County 2-0 at the half, and ended up going into penalty kicks in double overtime, and ended up losing 4-3. The only game they've lost.
Wow.
So they end up number 2 in the region, but that's pretty sporty now between the two soccer teams, the boys team and the girls team.
That is good.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome.
It ain't gonna get much better than that.
But it's been you can over the last 3 or 4 years, you've seen it building toward there.
2 words for you.
So
Tony Voiles, Coach Tony Voiles.
Absolutely.
My gosh.
And he's put together quite a group of staff to to get the job done.
But Tony's such a good guy and so relatable to those kids. They'd run through a brick wall for him.
Tony, he's another 365 coach, like Coach Rogers, like Coach Strickland, a 365 coach. Coach Trammell, that coaches softball, same way. Those are the coaches that take their sport so seriously, and everything they do is for their team and for their sport. And
absolutely.
you see the results of it because of how each program does.
Well, and we talked about this in the first Swarmcast 2 weeks ago. We are so blessed in that just about any program you want to talk about is competing at a championship level.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Now, that you just don't find that. You just don't find it.
And you're doing that in 6A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and
doing that in 6A.
Those of you that have not seen the In the Game feature that was produced about the 2023 season that was released, I think, today.
Okay.
One of the things that I talked about that they edited out was the fact that we won that state championship in football as a 4A school playing against 6A schools. Yep. And we were the only school in the whole state, public school, being made to play up 2 classes because of the multiplier. Not complaining about the multiplier, because I have said very, very plainly I support it, because they're trying to equalize that playing field, and the folks who are actively recruiting and actively cheating, I hate to put it that way. We know who they are. They know who they are, but we're not going to mention any names. They're trying to equalize that playing field. Yep. But for our program to be doing what we're doing, our programs, plural, all of them, to be doing what they're doing against the 6A class makes it even more remarkable. I mean, it's downright crazy to me that we're being as successful as we are, because I remember the discussion, guys, when we found out that we were going to be going from 4A to 6A, even amongst us.
Yeah. We just had to take a deep breath, man. That was.
But the consensus was, Jamie, I mean, this is not good. I mean, because we had been struggling so bad, and not just football.
Yep.
But it also says something about the competitiveness in that 4A class and that 5A class too, because clearly, as successful as Cairo has been against bigger competition, Bainbridge the same way. Mm-hmm. Something good going on there too now. Pretty sporty.
Absolutely.
No question. We'll have Coach Ryan Strickland calling back in just a minute or two. Let me go ahead and let the cat out of the bag on the flashback question. The last team from Thomas County Central to play for a state championship basketball team. Jamie, what year?
1986.
It was 87.
87.
The girls basketball team played Chattooga in the then AAA state championship there at Georgia Tech's Coliseum. And we lost by 5 points. 2 very evenly matched teams. We had Gwen Thomas was part of it. Selena Bynum was part of it. Trying to remember some of the other ones.
Oh, man, they were
but Gwen was she was in the middle, and she got into foul trouble. And that's when the whole thing started to swing, because we were pretty well taking care of it.
Yeah, she could play too. Good gracious, she could play. I think Coach Harper and Coach
Connor
was the coaches.
Yeah, Obadiah's asking, this is a good question. A few years, so 1987, the last time a Thomas County Central basketball team played for a state championship. He's asking, do we think that we may drop down in classification in the next year or two once the reclassification thing happens?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. I think so. The multiplier.
It's a done deal.
Yeah, right.
We're a 5A. We'll be in 5A.
Yeah, we'll be in 5A.
But they won't be but 6 classes.
Right. That's right.
But so really, I guess everything gravitated down.
Yeah, it just moved down.
I mean, really, it's just kind of lateral, at that point.
Yep.
But I think if you look at our enrollment numbers and stuff, as far as us, what's coming in, the freshman class is one of the biggest that it's ever been.
Yep.
And you have a lot of kids coming to this county system, so you really just don't know where you'll fall 2 years down the road.
But let me just say something a little bit about where we've fallen to.
Here we go now.
Okay,
we'll be in 5A.
Right.
Okay, 5A will have the Milton
7A
state champions in it.
Mm-hmm.
The 6A state champions in it, which is us. The
4A
state champions, which is Coffee.
Same region.
All state champion, 3 of the biggest classes will be in 5A. So this ain't no
slouch.
This is a little SEC thing going down here now.
Yep, no doubt.
So this where we're at, it's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not.
It's going to be tough.
And once you get out of the region, then you're going to know exactly where you stand when you finish that region stuff
Absolutely.
up. And I will say this too, and I think this is worth mentioning. I don't know about the multiplier thing and how that will stick. I think that's going to be an ongoing process from the Georgia High School Association. It has been for several years.
Yeah.
And I totally sympathize with the officials from the GHSA trying to figure out what do we do to equalize some of this. Now, one of the things that's going to happen this year from Class Single A through Class 3A, the private schools will have their own championships.
Absolutely.
So they will not be playing in against the Thomasville. Say Thomasville plays in the state championship. They will not be seeing a private school in the state championship. But the larger schools like your Marists, Benedictines, the Woodwards, they're going to elect to play in those higher classes. And you'll still be seeing them.
Yep.
But there's no clear-cut answer there. There's just no clear-cut answer.
Yep.
I wish there were.
They've tried, and my hat's off to them for
100%
for trying to make this as
even
as they can across the board. But Robin Hines, it'll be Dr. Robin Hines will be retired.
Yep, he's retired.
There'll be I think they've already appointed a new guy, and I think whoever gets it will see the amount of stress that job holds.
Well, and we have had this discussion on many of our road trips for these football games, and we've tried our best to come up with our own solutions, but they're just isn't a clear-cut solution with it.
Well, I think you have so many isolated problems amongst the state with different systems and locations and regions and stuff, and as far as like rural population and stuff, you have South Georgia that's more rural, and then you go through the Macon metro Atlanta area, and then you get to North Georgia, and then you have more rural areas up there, and it's hard to group everybody alike when you kind of just spread out like that.
Yep.
And you just, like I said, it's isolated issues, and so you try to just throw a blanket across it to cover all your bases.
Yep.
And so people are going to get the raw end of the deal. It's bound to happen somewhere, and it just so happened to happen to us this time. Whether or not it happens to us again will be dependent on how everything plays out and what they do.
Now, Brian, if we cut the state in half at Macon, and you had a north, say a north champion versus a south champion
I'll let you know when the
in the semis, and then the north played the south each year in every class.
Yeah,
that might shave a lot of miles.
I
off
could
the
see.
trips.
Yeah. You good? Oh, I think we got Coach Strick.
We got Coach Strick.
Yeah, we got Coach Strick.
You there?
I'm here. How's it going, guys?
Hey, it's
Hey,
good,
Coach.
man. Hey, listen, and we have these three hot air guys here. We filled the time. You don't have to worry about it. We're all good.
We were sitting here in the office talking about what we're going to do tomorrow, and we just slipped my mind.
Well, hey, man, first off, let's start with the most recent one. Congratulations on that big win yesterday.
Yes, sir. That was a good one. That was a good game. We played really well, and I was, able to knock off their number one pitcher like that in the first game was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And to go to Lee County, and it doesn't matter what the circumstance is, and walk away with a victory. Again, road game, tough region game, big confidence builder. But the one I want to talk about, Coach, let's go back to last week.
Sir.
You made history, defeating Houston County. I mean, you did. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
They had a 38-game region win streak. 38 games. And
yes, sir. I think it was over 2 years. I think it was over 2 year long.
Wow.
Well, and the thing is, Coach, you won it 11-3. So it wasn't like you won it with like a bad pitch or something at the end of it. I mean, you pretty well dominated, it sounded like.
Yep.
Yeah, we did, and after the game, after everything was over too, we felt like we did the first game, and we kicked the daggone ball around 8 times on the infield, which is something I've never seen, out of our guys, and I don't know how many years we've been here, but
nerves.
It was different field, and wasn't the best conditions, and you got young guys that happens a little time. They start second guessing themselves, and so they got caught in between on some hops when they shouldn't have. But you know what? We still kept that game 8-6. Could have folded up and let them run away with a run rule on us that first game, and we didn't. But so we just won the bat well that first game, and they knew they should have beat them, and they came out the second game of the doubleheader and played like they knew they could beat them. So,
Right.
So it is a huge confidence builder, and hopefully it's something that brings us through the rest of this week and the next week spring break and going into the playoffs. So
well, that's what you want. You need some sort of springboard, and that's good timing for it. Perfect, actually.
Yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Big time. So.
Now, who in that particular game, was there anybody that really stood out for you that you want to mention?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you had
solid pitching.
Yeah, you had pitching, good pitching all the way around. It's kind of hard to pinpoint in both the games blurred. I know Don McCann, a freshman, he had 5 hits on the day, and I think he might have had 4 in the first game, and 1 in the second. You had Lee McCorkle swung it well for us, had multiple hits, but other than that, I mean, it's like the whole lineup. It's right now you're getting contribution 1 through 9, and that's the big thing.
That's what you want.
That's what you want, and we threw 2 pitchers the first game. They both did a great job, pitched well enough for us to win. Second game, for the starting pitcher, did a great job, had bases loaded, and Reed Gaines, a sophomore, came in for us, and he went 4 innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 hit. So
that's 40.
He was on that game, and he's got a lively fastball, and he came in and he pitched with some anger and some intensity about him, which is good to see. So,
but the thing that popped in my mind, Coach, whenever I saw that score, you and I had a discussion the last time we talked about the toughness of your schedule and how, according to Max Preps, now we've played the toughest schedule of anybody in the whole state.
Yeah, 15.5, I think. I think the next closest is like a 14 point something.
Yeah, with Grayson or somebody.
Yeah. So it went up. It went up after that week too.
But did you kind of think to yourself, okay, now we're kind of seeing some of the rewards from that toughness that we've gone through here?
Oh yeah, of course. And I know you and I personally have kind of talked about this before. That's every year that our schedule is made like that because you know what you're going to get in the region.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get when we go to the playoffs, and the more you see it, the more comfortable we come with it. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, and so we have to see that stuff, and once the kids know, it becomes normal.
Right.
It becomes, you're used to seeing 88, 92, or whatever, or you're used to seeing guys who can pop the ball and know that you can make a play on it, and pitchers get comfortable throwing their pitches instead of timid throwing their pitches to guys like that.
Yeah,
so that it's huge.
I think Jamie's got a question for you, Coach.
Coach, Coach Strick, I've been able to come out several times and watch the team play, and I've bounced stuff off Randy and stuff because we played really good teams, and in the Tifton game, every one of those games could have went the other way.
Yeah.
I mean, we played Tifton as tough. We just couldn't get over the hump. Mm-hmm. And then, it don't get no easier, and all of a sudden Houston rolls in, and they're going to be good. But it just seems like to me that we're so young in a lot of spots. We get the big win at Houston, maybe start seeing some confidence, and hey, we can do this.
Build that momentum
and get that. Oh, yeah. Coach, I just think that there's a lot. There's a lot ahead for these guys. They have, they're just so young. It just seems like every kid that comes to the plate is either a freshman or a junior, or, and there's some good seniors too. I'm not trying to take away from them at all.
No, and those seniors are the key. It's they're the ones that you're able to lean on, and they provide that veteran presence of, a lot of those sophomores were in it last year, but the seniors have been in it for 3 years now. I mean, they know what it's going to be like, and they know that, one loss or even 3 or 4 losses in a row doesn't matter. Because these seniors now have been a part of 3 teams that went to the Elite 8,
That's right.
And so they know, they're calming presence and keep everybody kind of grounded. And so,
I thought that when I went out there and watched us play Houston in our home game against them, I didn't see them do anything that we couldn't overcome.
No, and
it was just,
we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit in that game too. I mean,
Yep.
with the number of walks, and I think we had several walks and hit by pitches, but we've been limping the past 2 weeks. We had to start our catcher. We started our catcher Nolan Taylor against him.
Yep.
He's a good pitcher, but he's not he started one game for us previously, but he's more of a 1 or 2, 3 inning guy coming out of bullpen, but we had to start him and just because of some things going on and injuries and everything else, and so that's the other thing is we're not at full strength, but that's also, I said at the beginning of the year in our when we had our big preseason banquet to all the people there, and I've said it several times, that's what I love about this team is that they're truly a team. I mean, there's no superstar, there's no animosity, because they're just as happy when somebody else does good as it is if they were doing good. Yeah. And that's hard to find nowadays, and it's special, and if they don't lose that, then you can do great things.
Brian's got something, Jamie. Let him get it real quick.
Hey, Coach, I just real quick, I know you we're talking about this series tomorrow night, finishing it up with the playoffs and everything looming. Where do we stand as far as what we need to do against Lee County? Of course, we need to win. That's a given. But as far as the playoffs go and what we're looking like?
Well, I mean, you have a lot of Tifton and Houston playing tonight, which last I checked, Houston was up 5-3 in the 7th inning on them. So, there's a lot of things still going on. You'd imagine them be 1 or 2. Right. If Houston lost out, got swept out the rest of the year, then we swept out the rest of the year, there's a chance you can finish 2. I mean, there's a lot of ifs and ands, but ultimately what you're looking at is if we can take care of taking 2 out of 3 from Lee, so we get 1 win tomorrow, you stand a pretty good chance, unless barring something crazy happening, that you're the 3 seed going into the playoffs. You drop both of them, and then I don't know where veterans are at. There's still 6 games left. Right. 3 games left after that. Depends on what happens, but that's where you're looking at, is going in the 3 seed. But and 3 seed's not a bad spot. Where you cross over at and everything else, you'd feel really good about going in as a 3 seed.
Well, especially after we just talked about coming out of this region that's arguably one of the toughest in the state, if not the toughest. And,
we had 3. We had 3 teams. 3 of us, Houston, us, and Tifton, were all in the Elite 8 last year.
Right.
So,
right. Wow.
That's pretty sporty.
It is. It's a real sporty. So.
Jamie, do you have something else you want to add?
Well, I was going to tell Coach Strick, when I was sitting up there by the Houston announcer, I sit right next to him, and I just leaned over and I said, "Surely y'all not as good as last year, right?" And he just kind of smirked at me, and he says, "Well, we're starting our big boy tonight.
Yeah.
And he's a hoss, and he's the real deal." And I said, "Oh, okay. I thought we hit him well."
Oh, we did. I was very proud of him, and he's 90, 92 guy, and big old kid on the mound. And I'm pretty sure I heard the other day he just signed with Georgia. But we coming to this year is one of the things about all the kids. I mean, we saw 16 Division I arms last year. And so this year I would venture to say we've saw close to the same thing with the opening up with Jeff Davis and Wayne County early in the year, and then Lowndes County I think had 8 Division I players on their team alone. So all that stuff going back to that schedule, it's they're great players, but if that's what you see and you see it, you get comfortable with it. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean that they're still not good and they can still mow you down, but you get a little bit more comfortable competing with them.
And you're not going to see anything you hadn't seen.
That's exactly right.
Bottom line. Right. Well, Coach, listen, we're not going to keep you, man. I know you need to get on. And listen, 2 weeks, we'll do this again, and we'll have you back on to catch us back up where we're going.
That sounds good. I appreciate it, guys.
Awesome, Coach. Appreciate you calling, man.
Thank you,
yes,
Coach.
Sir. Bye.
Guys, guess what? The hour is up.
Well, I just want to make sure before.
And Gracie Major says, "Go, Dad, go." And Jason Hunter said, "I'm the GOAT," which I've been said I smell like one. I don't know about that. Well, anyway, just saying, look like one.
For everybody that's out there listening, it'll be worth coming to the games tomorrow night. We got a great home stand tomorrow night against Lee County.
Yep.
And their fans will be here.
Yep.
We don't get outshined at home, so we need to bring everybody we can. Get behind these Yellow Jackets. These young men have practiced extremely hard. They put a lot of time in. This coaching staff has too. they're in a good spot.
Yep.
And if you haven't been to one of our baseball games, you're missing out. It is fun. I mean, it really is. The environment's fun, and
absolutely,
and the fans really get into it. It's a baseball game, so you're a little bit closer together. There's not as many, so it's a little bit more intense, and it really is. It's a different environment, but it's really, really fun.
And you can tell from Coach's tone, he feels really good about where this team is right now.
Yeah,
you can tell. There's no, well, we sure got a uphill battle here. He feels pretty good about it. Beating Houston, I made a thing in the newspaper for the story that said, it just takes one well-placed blow to break the dam apart.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that's what we saw with that game.
Well, Randy, when you play a schedule,
what time's the games, guys? What time's the games?
I would imagine first pitch tomorrow is probably 5:30, but we can double check.
Is it a doubleheader?
Yeah, it's a doubleheader.
So probably 5. Then I would.
It'll be a 5.
Yeah, Brian's going to check it.
7.
Go ahead with your thought. I'm sorry.
But when, like Coach Strick said, when you play the schedule that we've played, surely you hope to win all of them.
Yep.
but you going, like he said, you're gonna get mowed down every now and then.
4:30.
Okay.
4:30 according to Max Preps.
Okay. But you're going to lose some of those games, but you're going to put your kids in situations that down the line, when you get in those situations, we know how this kid's going to react in that situation.
And the kids have the confidence knowing they're not going to see anything that they hadn't already seen.
Absolutely.
There's nobody any better than what they've already seen. No question.
Battle tested.
You okay? By the way, I just want to make sure you're okay because you started throwing stuff around over here.
What's in the coffee? What's in the coffee?
I think you need to try decaf.
It's too much non-sponsored in the coffee.
Somebody please sponsor this guy's coffee so he doesn't start throwing stuff around like that. I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't either, to be honest with you.
Flying around.
I thought he was doing discus with the track team.
He might have been doing biscuits with that coffee. I don't know. Could be. Guys, listen, thank y'all for watching. Casey, thank you for making sure everything runs. That's a quick hour, man.
Gosh, man, when you've got so much to talk about and so much good going on within our school system,
it's hard to fit it all in.
Enough.
Yeah. It makes it easy when you're doing things right, and that's what we do here. So
100%. All right, guys, listen, we will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, spring break. I almost said next week's fall break. No, it's not. Woo. Next week's spring break. So we will be back, and I don't know what the date is on that. Let me see if I can figure that out. That would be
16th, 17th?
April the
18th.
11th.
19th, 20th.
Don't start like this. Nobody said math was going to be a part of this. It's April 11th. So we'll be back April 11th, and we'll catch up with Coach Strickland.
And it's going to be action-packed, I guarantee you.
Just like this one was, especially over here on this side.
You never know what's going to happen.
All that caffeine and that
maybe next time we'll have like a karate board I can break or something.
He may have a placard up there with a sponsor on it.
You know what? And that'll calm him down right there.
Yeah, and we'll screw it to the table so I don't knock it over.
The drink. Listen, y'all. This is all right. This is what happens when we're on the road. That's where a book needs to be written.
Yeah.
Is on the Yellow Jacket Radio Crew road trips. It is unbelievable. Am I lying?
But consider the writers, it'd be a picture book.
We'll let Jamie draw it.
With stick figures.
I will tell you, some of the funniest stuff happened between Atlanta.
Don't tell too much. Don't tell too much here now.
But you've got two guys that are in bands. We're talking about music, and all of a sudden it gets into sports, and then Casey gets in on it, and it's
oh my gosh,
man, it's awesome. And then for a while there, Eli was riding with us. I had to be real careful.
Well, I'll to give everybody a little insight there. One time driving home from I think Harris County, we were in Columbus, and he had to go to the bathroom.
Ooh.
So we tried to find a side road. We pulled into the side road. Next thing I know, I see this guy stepping out of this little booth with a machine gun. We had driven into Fort Benning. I didn't know it, but we let him go. Man, he had to go. When you got to go, you got to go. And the guy with the machine gun's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, okay, it's good. Y'all
just
good.
make sure and turn around. Turn around, don't drown.
Y'all, thank y'all for watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks. For Jamie and Brian and Casey, Randy Young here for the Swarmcast. We'll see y'all then. Go Jackets.